Hey, fight fans, welcome back to Carl Prusa MMA. Today, we got a treat for you. We got someone returning to the show. My guest today is the current CFFC flyweight champion. He is going to be back in action June 6th, going down, taking on Jason Eastman. They call him the Indo Ninja. He is Mr. Bilal Hasan. Bilal, what's up, man? How are you?
Great, man. That was a great introduction. You got me hyped just hearing that. I appreciate that, Carlo. It's nice doing interviews with a familiar face. It feels like we're just catching up, man. So I'm definitely excited about this interview. And yeah, man, I can't complain. Training camp's been great. Excited for this next fight. And still, baby, let's go.
Absolutely, man. Likewise, for you, you got to bring a lot of high energy with you. You're such a positive person. You're very high energy yourself. You have a very strong mental game. You're very outgoing. Do you find that is helping you stay comfortable when you're in competition?
Yeah, I think that's one of my main attributes that actually allow me to be so successful in the cage. I'm just honestly just a very expressive person. I feel like I'm naturally more of an extrovert. Like you said, I'm very high energy. I'm excited to be on this interview. I'm living the dream, and so yeah, man, I think that's one of the main things that that allow me to be so successful in the cage. I just go out there and express myself, and I'm living the dream, man. There's literally no place I'd rather be in the cage and right now. And so, yeah, once it comes June 6th, I'll just be able to express myself and show the world myself even more. And so I'm definitely very excited, Mr. Carlo.
In addition to being very extroverted and having a very outgoing personality, you have a very outgoing fighting personality, man. There's no
Let's
such
go.
thing as a boring Bilal Hasan fight, man. I mean, you've shown it before. You can knock guys out from the body. You can choke guys out. You have these crazy spinning wheel kicks. You have one punch knockout power. For you, man, you feel like you're kind of like an artist when you're in there, that you're kind of like painting a puzzle and you're trying to put the finishing strokes to finish off that piece?
Yeah, 1000%, man. You described it the best. That's how I look at all my fights. Because that's one thing that I love about this sport, man. No one can take away the work that you put in, right? No one can take away the performance that you put out there. And so it's my goal every single time to paint a beautiful masterpiece. And actually, funny enough, I've been saying this in most of my interviews. Every one of my fights, I want to have a different finish and also a different part of my body. So I have a left hand knockout. That was my last one, a liver shot. I have a right hand knockout. I have my spinning wheel kick knockout. That's my right leg. And I have a body kick knockout, and that's my left leg. And so I'm running out of body parts, man. So we'll see what's in store for this next fight. I haven't had a knockout with my knees or my elbows, so that might be a little bit of manifestation there, brother.
We talked about a little bit in the last interview how this sport has really evolved and changed, especially in the last 10 years. So many new eyeballs now to the sport. Now you have what are called the casual fan. To me, 10, 15 years ago, not everyone knew MMA. Odds were if you knew MMA about 15 years ago, you trained in it to some sort of capacity or you knew the whole roster. You knew a lot about it. Now, a lot of these guys, they maybe don't have that same depth of knowledge, but what are they attracted to, man? They're attracted to finishes. They want knockouts. They want spinning wheel kicks. They want exciting, fun fights. Do you feel you are a type of fighter that is designed for the casual fan, or are you the type of guy that these casuals are going to absolutely embrace?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. You know why, Mr. Carlo? Because I'm also a casual fan myself, man. That's what drew me into the sport. Funny enough, when I started off with Taekwondo, I thought this sport was so barbaric and boring because I would see, all these guys slugging it out. Like, I didn't see any technique, no finesse. I wasn't really attracted to the wrestling. But, the more that I've learned about the sport of mixed martial arts, I've grown to be attracted and to accept and the complexity of wrestling and jiu-jitsu. So I found my love and passion for it. But man, I love the knockouts. I love the big personalities. I love the storyline behind fighters. And so yeah, man, I'm a casual fan at heart. That's what drew me into this sport into the first place. And I think that's what makes me such an exciting fighter, man. I know what it takes to be successful, in the entertainment realm.
You know, a lot of people are really excited when you fight, and some really big names in the sport. You know, Ariel Helwani has talked about you. Hanato Moicano, I think, had some of the best words of encouragement for you. Had some of the best reactions to your finishes. When you saw Hanato going all crazy, getting super excited, when you watched that back, was that pretty cool?
Oh man, it's hilarious, man, and I'm extremely grateful for that, man. He honestly made like that spinning wheel kick knockout. His reaction, like honestly, it was like the cherry on top of the knockout and the moonwalk and the backflip. His Brazilian accent and his choice of words were perfect, man. And so I'm very grateful for Hanato's words on that. And he's just such a cool guy, man.
Absolutely. You know, you mentioned the moonwalk. You're a huge Michael Jackson fan. You know, a lot of guys your age may not even know who Michael Jackson really is. You know, one of the all-time legends. What appeals you to Michael Jackson? Is it just that he's a showman, you're a showman, you have something in common?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I was young, I've always just been grown to. Actually, right when he died, I was just like, oh my God, who in the world was Michael Jackson? I didn't know who he was. And then I went on to a whole like YouTube dive. Hey, what's up? I'm doing an interview right now, bro. Let's go. Let's. Oh, the greatest person ever. You guys gotta love the guy. Let's go. He shouted him out. Let's go. Yes, sir. Good to see you, brother. Got supporters all over, man. Got supporters all over.
Really, just a random fan that just said, "What's up?" You in the middle of the street?
Yes, sir. You know how it is, man. You know how it is. We run Washington, man. We run Washington. But I'm sorry. What was the question, Mr. Carlos? Sorry, that threw me off guard there. But I know Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. Yeah, man. Right when he died, I looked him up on YouTube, went through a whole dive, and I was just really grown to how he would be able to perform. There's this one clip of him in the Super Bowl where he's just standing there with the same exact shades as I do, and he's just standing there for 5 minutes, and the crowd's going crazy. Just his aura, man. His aura, and of course, dude, he makes some of the funkiest and greatest music of all time. He's the king of pop for a reason. And so every time that I now all I do is walk out to Michael Jackson, it just gets me in that mood, man. And it brings me back to when I was 8 years old, just watching him, and also just like when I was performing in front of my parents doing the moonwalk. And so it just feels like I'm 8 years old again, man, just enjoying it, enjoying, the privilege of the pressure and just being able to showcase my skills, man. And so Michael Jackson, performer, great artist, love them all around, man.
No, absolutely. We're talking a little bit of how the casual fans embrace you, talking about how some of the big names in the sport have dropped your name. All fans in general embrace you. You're not even in the UFC yet. You're not in the big promotions yet. You're still a regional fighter. You have this fan base right now. I mean, you literally just got recognized driving your car in the middle of the road. I don't think I've ever heard of or seen that before. You're still in the regional scene, man. A lot of people are talking about you. A lot of people are saying you're the next Sean O'Malley. You're the next this. You're the next that, man. When you feel all this support, first off, are you feeling it? Can you tell people are like the gravity's really picking up here? And how do you react from it? Does it create pressure? Do you just feed on it? Do you love it?
Yeah, I definitely feel it, man. It's still surreal to this day because I'm what you call a low level professional, man. Like I'm only 6-0 as a pro, but the platform that CFFC has given me is absolutely incredible. I think they see the star power in me, and I've always believed it since the beginning. And now that I'm seeing it come to fruition, it's absolutely surreal. But man, the pressure that's on my shoulders, man, is it's a privilege at the end of the day because not many people can be in my position. And so at the end of the day, man, I'm just ultimately so grateful for the privilege of this pressure, man. I'm definitely basking in it, but I'm also learning as well. Like everything's a learning process. Like that's why I love doing this interview so much, man, because this is a skill, man. It's a skill to build your own brand, to be able to communicate effectively to everyone, and also just showcase your personality, man. I'm still learning more about myself along this whole journey, and man, I'm loving the process, man. I'm extremely grateful for it.
In this day and age, you have to be more than just being a fighter. Obviously going out there, competing, winning fights, that's part of the job, but it's very much a business now. I mean, it's happening again. You can recognize even more here. This is great.
Yeah, same guy. We just keep pulling up to the same red light.
We're really starting to see that this is turning into a business, picking who are you going to fight on the regional scene, who you're doing interviews with, sponsorships, who are you training with, Who are some people that has helped you maybe cultivate you, throw you aside, and maybe allowed you to understand the business thing here and give you a sense of what's going to come outside of the cage and, just part of the journey in general?
Man, I ultimately have to give a shout out to my team, Coach Charlie's Combat Club, everyone there, Miranda Granger. Also shout out to my agency now, MAG Agency, everyone there, Dave, Peter, they're amazing people. But also, man, the GOAT, Demetrius Johnson, man, it's even still to this day, man. I've been working with him for about like 3-4 years now, and every time I see him, it's surreal, man, because he's the greatest of all time, and ultimately he's led the path for me, man. It's right there in front of me. I just have to follow the blueprint that he's given to me. And so, yeah, man, shout out to all those people. And yeah, I just got to stay on my path and just keep getting to work, man. At the end of the day, it's all about just getting down to work and keep progressing every single day.
You got to, even while Demetrius Johnson was fighting, you really got to help him out in some of the training camps. I believe you assisted in the Rodtang fight and then maybe the Martinez fight as well. What was it like going into there?
Very humbling, man, because when DJ's in camp, man, it's it's a rough one, man. It's definitely rough. So I definitely have learned so much, being with him throughout that camp. And so, yeah, man, now that he's retired, he's still training jiu-jitsu, and I can tell, man, he still has that itch, man. You can't ever get rid of it as a fighter. So, once in a while, especially when I have a fight coming up, he definitely blesses me with some MMA sparring, and so I'm definitely very grateful for that. But now that he's also on his YouTube grind, he's absolutely killing it. His content is A1. He actually invited me out. I'm so upset because he invited me to that. I don't know if you've seen him train with Death Sentence at all.
Yes.
Man, that content that's next level. That's next level, to say the least. And so he invited me to go there and do that with him. But unfortunately, I was actually in Florida training with the Kill Cliff team. And so shout out to my MAG agency. They sent me out to go train there. So it was definitely a great experience. But man, it was like, could have trained with DJ, but and made content with him, and that would have been cool. But at the end of the day, I got a great experience as well training with the Kill Cliff team, man.
Kill Cliff, one of those great gyms down in South Florida over the tutelage of Henry Hooft. You have Robbie Lawler there. You have Shavkat just trains in there sometimes. You have Usman sometimes, Ian Gary sometimes. All these great guys are there. Now we're at a point, obviously, you have your home base out west, your home base in Seattle. But what's it like being able to cross-train at other gyms? Are you finding that very beneficial?
Yeah, very, very beneficial, man. I love it, man. That's actually one of my favorite things to do, is just to travel and train and also learn like different perspectives on, different fighters, but also martial arts in general, man. Martial arts is such an evolving sport, and to be able to learn from different people and bring it into my own and add it to my toolbox, man, has definitely been one of my favorite, things along this journey. And so, yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite things about the journey of being a professional mixed martial artist. But it's cool, man, because my agency is actually, that's their main headquarters is in Kill Cliff. And so it's really cool. Like I already made a connection with everyone there, and I can kind of train there whenever I want during my camp. And just even when I'm not in camp as well, I can go out there and train and develop my skill. And also training with DJ as well, man. I'm absolutely so grateful to be able to train with such high level people and teams.
You've only been a professional or a fighter in general, amateur and professional included, for about 4 years now. When you first started to get into this, did you envision that you would be on kind of a pedestal and have the hype that you do right now?
Yeah, I mean, basically, yeah, man. But one thing is I didn't think it would be this soon. Like it's still so surreal to me. Like I said, I'm still a lower level professional. 6-0. I don't have the experience that many UFC fighters do, but the hype around me is absolutely unreal, man. I definitely expected it, but just not this early, man. But I'm grateful for it.
Was there a particular moment in the professional career when you really started seeing the hype and you're like, uh-oh, it's picking up now?
That's a great question, man. I think it's been it's been a fast progression, but it's also been slow at the same time, if that makes sense. I feel like with every fight, of course, everything has grown, but I've been learning so consistently that I've been able to apply what I've learned, with every fight, with every interview. And so honestly, man, it'd probably be after I made that, I think it was my 4th professional fight. I made a diss track on one of one of my fights, and then I knocked him out in the first round. So probably after that, man.
Absolutely, man. For you, personality, entertainment, it's something that you really bring. We're talking about Michael Jackson. We're talking about the showbiz thing.
Yes, sir.
In this day and age, social media is such a prevalent tool. It's really revolutionized the fight game. It allows fans to really understand who the guys are. It allows you to play that character if you have one. But for you, it's not a character. You're just being Bilal. I mean, what
Exactly.
you see is what you get. For you, how do you feel that your ability to implement entertainment and personality, how do you feel that has been helping to progress your career?
Yeah, man, I've ever since, like I said, I'm a casual fan at heart, man. Like when I got into this sport, I was a fan, and I always like looked up to, the people that were, at the end of the day, very successful in this sport. And so I already knew at that moment that I kind of already had my own like kind of niche to showcase to the world. And so, it was a little hard at first because I was really worried about how people would perceive me. But once I started to just be myself and people could sense that, what I projected out into the world was authentic, man, I just doubled down on it. And, to this day, that's still what I aim to do.
Absolutely. So we're taking on Jason Eastman coming up here, June number 6. Fighting a guy with a lot of experience. I think this is a guy you fought who's had the most professional contests for where you're at in the career, trying to get to 7-0. You feel guys like Eastman, guys who've been at this for a while, who have more than 10 fights, who have winning records, are these the guys you need to be testing yourself with?
Yeah, you said it best, man. I think this is the right opponent at the right time, and the right opponent to showcase more of my skill set. Like I kind of mentioned before, I want every fight, I want to show a different, part of my skill set. And especially right now in my career, the thing that I need before, the big leagues is that I need experience, man. And so the more that I can test myself with guys that have more experience, that's just going to give me so much more confidence to when I do get into the big leagues, I can be comfortable wherever and confident as well.
So overall, what do you think of Jacob Eastham as an opponent?
I think he's good everywhere, but he's not great anywhere. And so I think that, like I said, that's the perfect style of opponent for me to test myself in my grappling, my wrestling, my Muay Thai, my boxing. And so, yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a tough fight. He's never been finished by strikes before, so that's definitely going to be my goal. But I wouldn't mind another submission on my record as well. But I'm ready for 25 minutes of ass whooping, man. At the end of the day, I'm ready for 25 minutes of, just pure ass whooping and another highlight.
You've talked about getting ready for the big leagues. The big leagues have already had your attention. You were talked about to be on The Ultimate Fighter. You didn't accept it. What went into that decision?
At the end of the day, one, it was more of a timeline thing. It was right after my last fight, and I got super duper sick. And I don't usually get this sick. I think it was just a accumulation of, the travel and then the weight cut and then the fight. And it's all super sick. And they wanted me to fly out like 2 days to go to Vegas and get started basically because they were already looking to film that week. And so timeline didn't work, but ultimately it was more on the business side. So I talked with, my coach, Miranda, DJ, and they said, keep your stock high. The show is for people that don't really have a personality and that need the Ultimate Fighter to get into the UFC. And they were saying that, at the end of the day, I don't need that. Enter the UFC on my own terms and when my stock is at its highest, and so that I'm able to, negotiate and have a successful career, short term, but also long term as well. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, it just didn't really work out, man. And I think I'm on the right path right now.
Like you mentioned, timing is really everything in this sport. You're going out there beginning of June, going out there, big fight, trying to prove the 7-0. There's a reality show that starts Tuesday nights in August. It's called the Dana White Contender Series. I know you're going to tell me you have options, you have different possibilities, but would we be lying if we're not thinking about something potentially starting in August?
I mean, we'll see, man. It depends on how this next fight goes, but I wouldn't say no to Dana White's Contender Series at all, man. That would be really cool. But at the end of the day, we're talking about timing as well. We're gonna have to see after this fight, man.
Absolutely. How much fun are you having right now, Bilal? How much are you enjoying this journey?
Man, dude, it's surreal, man. Every single day I wake up and the first thing that I think of is just gratefulness, man. I'm incredibly grateful to be in the position that I'm in, and it's just yeah, I'm just ultimately so grateful, man. I'm living the dream, and yeah, extremely grateful. That's it.
You know, one thing I think is really cool, you have this such outgoing personality, but you embody what it is to be a true martial artist. For you, what does it mean to call yourself a martial artist?
Man, it's I think the best way to put it is strive for perfection, but the perfection's never going to be there. And so everything's always just a work in progress, man. You always got to keep, paying your rent. The journey's never going to end, man. And so that's what I love about this sport so much is the ability to just continue learning, man. That's what I love every single fight. Win or, I haven't lost yet. Knock on wood, but even from a win, there's always something to learn from it. And so, yeah, man, I think as a martial artist, it's always a strive for perfection, but perfection's never going to be there. And so it's just the journey of it, man.
You know, along the journey, there's a lot of sacrifices, and there's sacrifices in all stages of the journey. You know, a lot of guys have to work jobs on the regional scene because they're not making millions of dollars fighting on the regional scene. You know, regardless of that, you have to stay up late. You have to wake up early. You don't get to see friends, family, friends, and nearly enough. It's hard to have any sort of relationship because you have to dedicate your whole life to MMA. MMA is literally your relationship for a lot of
Yep.
guys. You do this every single day just for the chance to maybe fight on a big show. You've experienced the hype, you're getting the attention, and rightfully deserved, but you're going through sacrifices every day. What's motivating you to get through it?
Man, the biggest thing, man, is it's the people around me. It's the community that I have in my gym, Charlie's Combat Club, but also just the community in my life, man. My parents, my sister, my family, my friends, man, they keep me so grounded and so humble. And so I'm definitely grateful that they're a part of this journey. I literally wouldn't be in the position without them. And so they just motivate me, man, because at the end of the day, I feel like I have more people that believe in me than doubt me, and I think that's so powerful. And so yeah, at the end of the day, it's the people around me that motivate me to get to where I want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Lyoto Machida once broke it down for me and gave me a perfect example of three stages of a fighter. The
Okay,
first
let me hear
stage
it.
is the build stage. It's when you're building your career, you're fighting on the regional scene, you're getting wins, you're trying to go to the big leagues. The second stage is the conquer stage. When you get to the big leagues, not just stay there, but win there, make your name, build your legacy. And then the third stage is the share stage. When that part is over, you give back, you help others, you help promote the sport, you pay it forward. Is it fair to so close to say that maybe we can categorize ourselves towards the end of the build stage and creeping into the conquer stage?
Yeah, that's actually really cool. I'm gonna have to write that down, Mr. Carlo. Thank you for that information. So it's build, conquer, and share. Man, I feel like I definitely agree with you. We're still in the building stage, but I feel like that's a circle, man. I feel like with whatever you do, you always have to build, conquer, and then share, no matter where you're at in your career. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned on this journey with where I'm at right now is that I need to be less like selfish because MMA is like you said, it's such a selfish sport. Like everything's about you, man. But at the end of the day, I feel like not to get so deep, but I feel like we're meant to be put on this earth so we can give back to people in some way. And so that's one of the biggest kind of mindset shifts that I've had in the past couple of weeks.
All right. You know, you mentioned so many people now are starting to know who you are. Obviously, we talked about a little earlier in the interview, but a lot of guys are looking up to you. Younger fighters are looking at you. They're kind of idolizing you in ways. They're trying to have a career like you. You know, I'm sure at the gym, the younger guys look at you as kind of that role model figure. You know, you haven't made it to the huge show yet, but you're on that trajectory. For you, what's it like to have messages saying, hey, you're inspiring me, you motivate me, I look up to you, I started doing MMA for you? Is that really one of the cooler things that come with this?
Carlo, I might even have to go as far to say that's the best part about this, man. At first I thought it was all about the winning. I mean, the winning feels great, the buildup feels amazing, but man, to be able to impact other people in a positive way, I never thought that it would feel this good. And so that's honestly one of the feelings that I'm so addicted to right now, especially with having the platform that I have as a lower level professional. Man, the ability to give back to people that I've never even met before in Indonesia, around the world is absolutely amazing, man. And so I definitely want to use my platform for that.
Absolutely. All right, Bilal, last question for you, my
Let's
friend. In
go.
a perfect world, what is the outcome June 6th when you return to CFFC to defend your 125-pound title against Jason Eastman?
Man, Mr. Carlo, I want a 25-minute ass whooping, man. I think CFFC is only 4 rounds max, but I want as much experience in that cage as much as possible. You know, you hear a lot of fighters, they're like, I want a first round finish. I want a second round. Dude, man, I gotta be realistic and manifest this because, you know, at the end of the day, I need the experience before I get into the big stage. And I want to be in the UFC by the end of this year. And so this next fight, I want to showcase, you know, a whole level to my skill set and get into the UFC by the end of this year. But other than that, I think Jason gets decapitated.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Bilal, man, thank you so much once again for your time. Always an absolute pleasure talking to you, man. And me and like all the MMA fans out there who watch the regional scene are very excited to see you get back in the cage.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carlo. That was a great time.
Absolutely. That's it for us tonight. I'm Carl Prusa. He is the Indo Ninja. He is Mr. Bilal Hasan. You watch him. He's returning to CFFC June 6th, taking out Jason Eastman. Take care, fight fans.